So I have to be honest, I have not been out to my garden in several days. We've just been so busy with other projects going on and canning peaches and kid things that I knew there was a lot to be dealt with out here, and I've just kind of been avoiding it. But I'm finally coming out today, and I thought I would bring you along as I harvest things and just kind of show you what the August garden is giving and what kind of state it is in. I'm going to show you the good and the bad, because that's just the reality of the garden in August in Michigan. It is at its peak kind of production wise, but it's also at its peak chaos. So I'm going to grab some of these tomatoes, whether they're really ripe and ready or whether they are just starting to blush, because if I don't end up getting out here again for another few days, I don't want to end up losing them. So you'll notice there are quite a few empty beds. I have been trying to be diligent about pulling things out that were spring crops and either mulching the beds heavily or putting down cover crops just so that they weren't completely covered in weeds or going to seed. So where my potatoes were is a cover crop. Where the garlic is, I have sown carrots for a fall harvest, and where I had my snap peas and lettuces, I have just mulched. But I don't think that I'll get anything planted in there for the fall. I don't have it in me right now. So whatever's planted right now is what we will continue to harvest. I am shocked at how many peppers are coming in right now. I guess it's that time of year. It just seems like they took a really long time to start coming in this year, but the time has finally come. This is also the time of year where the garden gets to be a bit of a jungle, and I just love it. I love kind of the coziness of being able to walk through rows and just kind of feel like you're completely enclosed and I don't know, just kind of forget about what's going on outside of it. There's just so many things that are coming soon. Our popcorn is tasseling. Our Brussels sprouts are really starting to form. We have a ton of beautiful, beautiful flowers kind of sprinkled throughout the beds. And I'm just really happy with how this garden has done this year. Even though I didn't end up planting my bigger garden, I still feel like we are harvesting and preserving a ton out of this space. And then we come to the not so nice part of the garden. This side has always been kind of my neglected area. I did not get good landscape fabric over here. I got cheap fabric, and as you can see, it does not keep the weeds at bay. So I'm gonna have my work cut out for me this fall, reclaiming that area. But these two rows where my brassicas and onions were, I have mulched, and I have cover crop just starting to come up, which is good. And I'm happy to at least have gotten those seeds in. herb bed is also kind of an area of neglect. Usually I have it nicely mulched, but just haven't maintained it as well this year as I should have, but that's okay. There's still a ton here that I can harvest, and some of it I'll use fresh, but I do want to try to dry some to preserve, not to have enough for a year, but at least to have some homegrown herbs that we can use in the winter. If there's one thing that I've learned from this year's garden is that it is worth putting in the effort and the time early on the season to make it easier to manage longer later on in the season before it gets to become a complete jungle. I spent a ton of time this spring mulching and pulling weeds and putting landscape fabric down, and for the most part in most of the garden it's made it super easy to maintain.